I just realized I've been talking to myself this time as my microphone was muted. Thank you very much for the follow. We are just getting into matches. I've been trying to find a game to cast. This is the StarCraft 2 Amateur League Season 2 Major Tournament. It is invite only. So we're going to be casting some games from the Metal Leagues here. I always like highlighting our low-ranked players. We are streaming with a 60-second delay, so we'll take a little bit of time before the stream catches up. Just swap the overlay quick. Alright, just waiting on our players to do vetoes. If you're new here in a StarCraft tournament, when there is a best of 3, best of 5, best of 7, whatever, there are a number of maps that the players get to ban. So they don't have to play all of the maps if they don't want to. So players can choose maps that they want to veto, essentially ban, from being able to be played. So they will go back and forth starting until there's only 3 maps left, and then they'll take turns picking them. So, Atlantean versus Flaps. It's Flaps, right? Yep. Who I think is an EU player. So our vetoes are Last Fantasy, which isn't surprising. It's a 3-player map, which is a little bit weird. Then Ultra Love. Torches. Please veto ley lines. I'm so tired of ley lines. Persephone. That's been a fun map to watch, actually. Tokamak. Ah, fuck. Ley lines is probably getting through. And Maganatha. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that is. There are 9 maps in the map pool, so. So our first pick is ley lines. Yeah, Atlanteans just double checking because they put the little dash at the start, which usually means they're vetoing. It's just a way of telling what's going on. So Pylon is the first map. So then we've got Incorporeal and Ley Lines left, and I would much rather see Incorporeal and Ley Lines. Okay, so our first map is Pylon. Okay, so US East it is. Alright, just waiting for both players to say that they're ready, and we will get into this game. Alright, here we go, getting into Game 1 of the Amateur League Season 2 Major Tournament with Flaps vs Atlantean, a ZVP. I should swap which sides they're on for this, but it'll be fine. Alright, in the bottom corner with the green Protoss probes, we have Atlantean. And in the top corner with the pink Zerg drones, we have Flaps 14. Or Flaps. Alright, I have never seen Flaps play before. I've had a little bit of a hiatus in the last couple of weeks from casting Amateur League games, but I'm back now. So I haven't had a chance to see Flaps play before. I've seen Atlantean a number of times though, and man does this guy love his zealots. I have never seen a Protoss who makes so many zealots. Okay, I think that is a full wall. I was a little bit concerned that maybe it wasn't, because sometimes if you have a little gap, the Zerglings can run around. But yeah, very excited to see this series. I myself am a Protoss player, so I always like casting Protoss games, and we haven't actually had that many Protoss players in the Initiate bracket lately. So I've been a little bit starved for having Protoss games to cast. Everything here so far is just completely stock standard. Regular timing. Oh, we don't have a gas yet, actually. So Flaps might be going for like a gasless opening, which would be weird, but interesting. Okay, so Atlantean's doing everything completely normally. Absolutely nothing out of the ordinary for the Protoss player. Okay, we're getting the drone transfer. So yeah, we are not going anything into gas. That means no leg speed. That means he's probably going for a quick third, I'm gonna guess. And he is going for just a super greedy opener. Stalker warping in from Atlantean to try and shoot down this Overlord. Yeah, I'm just really concerned that this is not actually a full wall. I have not played a whole lot on the new maps, and so I don't know a ton about them from a player's perspective. I've been watching a lot of games on them. Oh yeah, there it is. The shield battery there makes me think that Atlantean realized that maybe this was not actually a full wall. Alright, Flaps is floating a lot of money. We should be getting another hatch or something here. He's gone for 2 gas on the low ground in the natural expansion, which is a little bit curious. Alright, looks like we are going a sentry. Okay, so we're getting 2 Evo chambers and a Roach Warren all down at the same time in the natural. Lair upgrade. So I have to assume that Flaps is going for like baby's first timing attack with the Zerg, where you are going for 1-1 Roach speed and just going to try and ram it down their throats with a whole big ball of roaches. And Atlantean is going for his trademark Zealot Charge and Gateway Explosion. So, roaches, generally pretty good against Zealots. It's not like they do bonus damage or anything, but you can kite back, and it is hard for the Zealots to really get much done. Okay, so we have a couple of observers, but I don't think this has gotten spotted by any means. And this is going to be a very scary attack. Zerg is capable of pumping out so many units all at once, thanks to their larva. And Atlantean right now has only a few units. Like, he's got a sentry, a stalker, and a zealot. He's done nothing over on the other side of the map. He's done no harass. He's done no scouting, other than a probe initially. He might see the roaches now. Maybe. He might see the third taken at a really late time. And the fact that this third is so late would be setting off alarm bells for me. But yeah, here is the 1-1 roach timing attack. Though it is going to hit a little bit late. Like 5 minutes, this should already have hit. So yeah, we definitely need Immortals. You know, Immortals very good against roaches. The +1 damage upgrades are going to be great, but we could get a forge and start upgrading armor as well. Atlantean's floating a lot of money, and I'm very worried that with how much he is floating, he will not be prepared for when this roach ball comes to hit him in the face. Though 25 drones, I guess we're going to be transferring a ton of them over here once that hatchery finishes. Oh, a spire. And Atlantean has no idea. So he does not have cannons in his base. He does not have any Stargate to build Phoenixes. Is this just going to be like a couple of mutas on the back of it, or is this going to be almost a like Roach Muta playstyle? Okay, yes, this is a very important scout. Oh, does he get it? No, he doesn't get into the main. He doesn't see the mutas. He doesn't see the spire. It's good to know that they have a third, but you need to see what tech they've got. Oh, I don't know if he saw the muta. Like, sending those two mutas across is so risky when you need mutas generally to be a surprise, to really have any effect and work. Oh, that is a huge Artosis pylon right there. So if the mutas come in and just knock out a couple of pylons, like, oh, that's very scary for Atlantean. And he's building so many zealots. He has one stalker, and that's it that can shoot up. He probably saw the roaches. Oh no, brother. Still more roaches coming out, so I'm guessing that we're just gonna have a few mutas to go into the back and kill probes while the roaches act. Nope, the mutas are just going. So this will be the first time that Atlantean sees that there are mutalisks on the field. 5 probes go down, 6 probes go down, 9 probes go down, the stalker warp it, but I don't think these stalkers have blink. Yep, they don't have blink. Oh, here goes 10 probes, 11 probes. Oh, but the mutas aren't being microed. One muta almost goes down to cannons, but still 11 probes. Jesus. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Atlantean's force is getting completely cleaned up by this roach ball. I think he was distracted looking at home at the mutas. 2 more probes. That's like 15, 16 probes going down. Muta's trying to snipe this immortal. But the army size, 118 to 35. Like, Flaps, I think, should just be able to come in and win this outright. No blink on these stalkers. Yeah, this is just GG. Yup, and Atlantean realizes it. And that is it for game 1, going to Flaps. Okay, game 2 is on Incorporeal. Incorporeal. Alright, just waiting on the ready from Flaps. Alright, now in the bottom corner again with the green Protoss probes, we have Atlantean. And in the top corner with the red Zerg drones, the winner of the last match, we have Flaps. Alright, that was a very interesting game. It started very slow. Flaps went with a very greedy gasless opener, like no link speed to punish any kind of aggression early from Atlantean. But Atlantean went into his kind of classic zealot all-in that he likes to do, and had nothing to really answer the mutas or the 100 supply worth of roaches. I think that he just did not have nearly enough units. He wasn't really spending his money, and he also didn't really do much in the way of scouting. So when the mutas came and sniped 12 probes in his base, he had no idea they were even on their way. Alright, we got a drone scout off the rip. That's an interesting choice. Is he gonna like steal a gas or do a proxy hatch, or like what are we doing here, Flaps? This is not the norm. You're being weird. You're being very weird. Alright, everything looks standard right now. We have a normal time gas from Flaps, so maybe that was a mistake. Maybe he didn't actually mean to go gasless in his opening. Because I don't notice players usually changing up a lot between games if what they did in the first game worked for them. Alright, everything so far is standard. We got Ling's being started at a normal time, unlike the last time. We got Queen out, no safety Lings yet, but Atlantean hasn't made any moves to try and go across the map and harass. Got the Amateur League SC2 logo right there. If you're interested in learning more about the Amateur League, you can go to amateurleaguesc2.com and find all about this awesome league. I'm just going to briefly shout out our tournament organizer, Glacius, and his intern team that manage this, the organization of these tournaments, these weekly tournaments. They put in so much work behind the scenes, and I don't think they get enough praise for everything that they do. So shout out to them. Alright, what do we got going on? Ooh! A Dark Shrine! And the old Protoss adage of when behind, Dark Shrine. Got a Baneling Nest. Going to a third expansion at a much more normal time. Flap seems to have settled those jitters that they may have had early on. Uh-oh, here comes the scout. He's gonna see the Dark Shrine. And the Stalker is not in place. You gotta have something there to stop them from scouting this Dark Shrine. So, yep, Flaps is going to see everything. We should be seeing Spore Crawlers going down. Right? Ooh, double Macro Hatch in the main. No Spore Crawlers yet, though, but he did scout the Dark Shrine. We do have 4 out of 3 on gas. I do think the music was maybe a little bit loud, so we're going to toggle that off for now. I might go and adjust the volume a little bit later on in my settings. Alright, So we still do not have any spine crawlers. And the men in cloaks are here. Not all heroes wear capes, but these ones do. We do have the Overseer morphing in, though. And you need to get these out of there, brother. Or, like, split them up. Spore Crawler going down in the third base. Spore Crawler going down in the natural. Yeah, just try to get that hatchery. That is your best bet. And you scouted that he's got 2 macro hatches, which means you know some kind of a big all-in is coming, right? Oh, just some zealots in the third base. Gonna get a queen. I actually like this look from Atlantean, but he needs. Ooh, expanding here. Expanding here is a little bit risky because you know that he has 2 macro hatches in his main, right? But there's actually so many zealots here. Where did the Dark Templar go? Did they die? Yeah. Now, you have to be aware that there is likely a counterattack that's going to be coming across the map here. You cannot rest easy. You either need to keep the pressure on or prepare for that. Yeah, the Dark Templar must have died, like, in the main. I must have missed it. Got a bit of a probe transfer. Ooh, the sentries to stop a Baneling bust. I love it. And also for like some constant scouting. But yeah, Atlantean needs to like build more army. Ooh, and these 2/2 upgrades coming up are actually going to be huge for Flaps. But, I mean, Zealots are actually pretty good against Zerglings. They die to Banelings, but they're not bad against Zerglings. But a Charge Lot Archon all-in against everything you have seen from Flaps thus far would be pretty strong. And Atlantean, he is floating tons of gas. This is the perfect time to get a Templar Archives, speak of the devil, up and get some Archons out. Archons are very good against this kind of a unit composition. Storms are amazing against this kind of a unit composition. So, but oh my god, that is so many Zealots. If Flaps through, like honestly, Atlantean should just go across the map. He has 72 army supply. Go hit Flaps in the face. Don't give him a chance to recover. You knocked him down an entire base, but you can't let him get this economy back up. You gotta go, keep the pressure on, get some Archons out, and go across. Okay, he's doing some, like, adept run-bys, but at this point, the, like, Flaps was on, like, 20 army supply. It's now 66 to 58. So, like, kind of a missed window. But we need to get some Archons in. We need some Archons. Bring out the Fuzzballs. We need Storm, Atlantean. It looks like he's got the Templar Archives, but we're not researching Storm, and we're going into a Robo Bay for Colossus? Brother. Alright, we got 3 Archons, but these Archons are probably not going to be able to get out from here. Because they count as, like, giant fucking units. I guess we're just set after the kind of early game aggression. We are settling into a macro game, but I don't like this position for Protoss. If Zerg gets to just tech up and do whatever they want. If you're going into Sky Toss, you should be going into Tempests and Carriers and a Mothership. A Mothership would actually slap here. Ultras. Oh, that is bad. That is very bad for this this unit composition from Atlantean. Oh no, there's nothing in the wall. And the Lings get into the base, and they see all the tech. Atlantean using the whole army hotkey, but also getting a run-by on the other side of the map. 2 run-bys. You know what? I thought that, you know, he was just distracted whole army hotkeying over here, but he actually gets 2 run-bys on opposite sides of the map, forcing a response from Flaps. So many drones go down. 7 drones. And now the main army is moving out, it looks like, to take care of this base, or to move right past it. Oh, but the Ultras are out, and those Ultras will make mincemeat. But they're move commanded! They're not attacking! The entire army of Flaps was move commanded. But these Ultras will make mincemeat of this army composition from Atlantean. Oh no, now the Archons are derping around. They've been move commanded as well. There's no attack moves used. Yeah, more Immortals are needed to take out these Ultralisks. Ouch. That was painful to watch. What a huge drop in supply. Atlantean had an amazing window where he could have probably ended this game. And I think that he just needed to be a little bit more aggressive during that window. Like, he knocked his opponent down to 2 bases while he was on 3. That would have been a great opportunity. Now, Flaps is fully in the driver's seat. He is coming to destroy this 4th base from Atlantean. And Atlantean is mining out his natural. He's mining out his 3rd. He's mining out his main. He is going to be starved for resources. While Flaps is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, nope, not 5. 5 bases. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases. I can count. I swear. Yeah. And you know, the Void Rays are good against armored targets, but they don't kill them very fast. Yeah, we needed more Immortals. The moment you see those Ultralisks, you need to pump out Immortals. You can deal with the Lings and the Hydras with Storms. I don't think I have ever actually seen Atlantean use Storms. The Dark Templar, the heroes in capes, trying to make a difference. Atlantean holds on for now, but I don't know how he is supposed to recover from this. 43 to 66 workers, 36 to 61 army supply. He has actually a massive bank. He just can't spend his money. And yeah, Flaps is pumping out tons of units. There's a Spire coming up too. What do we got here? Cybernetics core. Oh, he lost the core. Yeah, it was in the wall. A Phoenix, for some reason. Probably a misclick. But yeah, Flaps should just be able to go across the map and probably wipe out Atlantean. Atlantean has now spent his bank. He's got tons of Dark Templar. Hey, Ragnar. It has been a fun game. It's been pretty back and forth, but... Alright, so we've got a ball of Hydras, Ultras, and Banes and Lings, and they are going across the map. Now, oh, there is an Overseer, so they'll be able to see all of these Dark Templar from Atlantean unless he snipes it, but even then, the Baneling connections might just be enough. Oh, the Overseer is not... Oh, no, it's there, right in the middle of the army. I just missed it. Okay, what is probably the final battle of this series. And the Banelings with huge connections on the Dark Templars. And I think it's all over but the crying at this point. Not the tournament Atlantean wanted to have. And GG! I forgot to update my overlay in game too. I'm so rusty at casting. Holy crap. Alright, let's take a look at the bracket quickly. Where did I have that? So Your Edge beat Coral Viper from the looks of it. Atlantean just lost to Flaps. So our semifinals are going to be Flaps and Your Edge, and then the winner of Flesh and Mirac, which I'm not sure how that game is going. Let me see. Looks like... Oh, nope. They're still in the middle of that series. See if I can get in on this one and cast it. The Zerg Cabal is out in force in the Initiate bracket. Damn, both Protosses eliminated early and leaving the all the Zergs. Alright, so this is Ragnar versus Flesh. I've seen these two play quite a bit. And a ZVZ. Looks like the remaining games of the Initiate bracket are all ZVZ, which... interesting. A little bit of chatting from the players. Get my overlay updated. Run a quick ad while we wait so that Twitch doesn't start it in the middle of something that's actually important. Splash. Okay, first veto is Tokamak. What's our second veto? Torches. Maganatha. Wonder if it was the same one or same map maker who made Jagannatha. That was a map from a couple seasons ago. What is the next pick? Or sorry, the next veto, I should say. Persephone. Okay. Now we're into picks because this is a best of 5. Incorporeal is our first pick. Last Fantasy. That's an interesting map because it's a 3-player map. Ugh, ley lines. I'm so sick of ley lines. Ley lines is a last season map. I guess Ultra Love will be our last map, unfortunately. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we are good to go. Okay. So first map is Incorporeal. Getting a good server for these two is a little bit interesting sometimes because Flesh is in Europe. I can't remember quite where in Europe. and Ragnar is in Australia. So there is usually a bit of ping issues between when these players play against each other. Alright, just waiting on the ready from Ragnar. Alright. We're getting into our second series of the day. Ragnar versus Flesh. The Zerg Cabal out in strength in the initiate bracket. All right, in the top corner, playing with the purple Zerg drones, we have Ragnar. And in the bottom corner, playing with the pink Zerg drones, we have Flesh. Alright, now both of these players have played against each other many times. I've seen a lot of back and forth between them. I would say, overall, that I think Flesh is a bit of a cleaner macro player than Ragnar. Ragnar sometimes likes to do some cheeky cheese strategies, but both players are very good. Both players, Hatch is going down at the exact same moment, pretty much across the map here. And I always struggle a bit with casting and with playing Zerg versus Zerg because I feel like this is just such a volatile matchup. It is really on a knife's edge at times. And I struggle to gauge who is even winning some of these engagements and fights. So, alright, so nothing cheeky for game one, though we do have a pool. I think it's a little bit earlier yet than Flesh's. We skipped the geyser first. We went Hatch Pool gas. Not sure if that's something that will really make a whole lot of difference, but he might be able to get out a couple of lings a little bit earlier, just in case something were to happen. Okay. So yeah, not really a whole lot to talk about in the here and now. Alright, couple of Zerglings and Queens coming up for both players. So far, just looking absolutely stock standard. Looks like we have a third base going up for Ragnar. And this can always be a little bit of a risky move in ZVZ, because I find in Zerg versus Zerg, if you scout that your opponent is going for a third base, and you are on two bases, it gives you an opportunity to all in them because they've spent money that you haven't on expanding, when your army will sometimes be bigger. So, can be a risky move. Just some slowlings going across the map. I think Ragnar is a little bit later than Flesh on his ling speed, probably because his gas was just a slight bit later, but not a whole lot. Flesh is rallying a lot of lings. This is a ling flood. Oh, Flesh is going for a ling bane flood. And Ragnar actually has less workers because he went for that other base. But now that the third base is up, he will have slightly more production if he can put it to use against flesh. Oh, this is scary. He doesn't know that the banelings are there. Ragnar needs to get some roaches up. Oh. Oh, and he catches the retreating lings. That is devastating. Drones get pulled, but they're almost dead. This might just be it for Ragnar, unfortunately. And this is the thing that I noticed with ZVZ, is if you have like 20 lings to 18 lings, the 20 lings don't win by a little bit. They win by a lot. Yeah, and we've just got lings flooding across the map for flesh. Reinforcements are on their way. Ragnar has basically no money. Flesh has a huge bank. But yeah, in ZVZ, when you have, 18 roaches to 20 roaches, the 20 roaches win, but they don't win by a little bit. At the end of it, it's like 15 to 0. Same thing with mutas. If you have like 11 mutas to 10 mutas, the 11 mutas win, and they win hard. It's just the way this matchup shakes out. I don't honestly think, Ragnar, that you can go and try to recover from this economically. I think you have to try to all in this position. And you just pump out as many roaches, like you just spent 300 minerals on a hatchery. I think that instead you pump that into roaches and you try to trade a hatch on the other side of the map. Or do some major damage. I don't think in this situation you actually can go for a hatch and come out in a winning position. But maybe I am wrong. I actually think that these players probably get the matchup a little bit better than I do. Now he will be able to see if there's a move out, but like, I don't know. If I'm Flesh, yes, I'm on 3 bases. Yes, I'm up on economy and everything, but I don't take my foot off the gas. I keep going and hammering Ragnar, making sure that he doesn't get let back into this game. And I've seen plenty of times where Ragnar has been in games that he should statistically not be able to come back from, and he does. So Ragnar is very scary if you let him get back into a game after almost knocking him out. Yeah, that's a lot of roaches. 52 to 47 army supply. Yeah, Ragnar decides to pack up and go home. You had a window where you could have all in, but that's past. It's gone. Dust in the wind. Zergling run by going up to the top base. I think it got spotted by the Overlord. Oh no, he's got one there. But the question then becomes, does Ragnar actually have enough here to stop this? And looking at the army supply, 74 to 47, my answer would be no. Now, maybe with some good biles, but we don't really have any control going on right now. There were no biles used there. Ooh, those are good biles, though. The defender's advantage. Strong for Ragnar. Oh, and Ragnar has roach speed done, it looks like. And Flesh does not, meaning he is just chasing. You have to turn and fight with these. Because they're never going to be able to go home again. But Flesh may have actually just baited Ragnar in. If Ragnar can get some lurkers up, that would actually be huge for him stabilizing in this matchup. Yeah, they're up to almost even army supplies now. Ragnar destroying some rocks. Flesh is going on the offensive again. Both sides look like they are going to opposite sides of the map. Here's the thing. Ragnar has not dealt a single point of economic damage to Flesh. And now Flesh is going, you know, he wants it all. Hatch goes down, but there is no way out for these units from Flesh. Ragnar might be able to clean up this entire army, but he has still got... Oh, there's no real micro going on from Ragnar. He could have blocked these units from being able to retreat, but I don't know. I think that if he had gotten this army, there may have been a chance for him to strike back, but... Flesh actually has higher losses than Ragnar does. Ragnar has been doing better in these fights than he quite honestly has any right to be doing. But is it with the economic damage just too little, too late? I don't know. I think getting some higher tier units would be very beneficial to Ragnar in this situation. Getting some lurkers. Lurkers would be absolutely massive against a Roach Hydra comp. Wait, where's that queen going? Lizzie, get back on the creep. Alright, absolutely massive fight going on down here. Once again, Ragnar is coming out on top in these fights against Flesh. Flesh has the better economy. He's largely had the larger army. But now Ragnar at 64 to 48 army supply. Flesh is morphing more units in, but they're not ready. This is your chance, Ragnar. Hit him in the face. Get a hatch. Get a queen. Get a bunch of drones. Just don't overextend. No, go for the third. Oh, but that's a lot of Hydras coming in. That moment of just walking by may have been enough that it gave the army from Flesh a chance to get there. And Defender's advantage in ZVZ is extremely strong. Okay, no, leave the army. Go kill the drones. You gotta put some damage on his economy, brother. I feel like pushing into this natural is just a bridge too far. Oh, the Flesh is calling GG. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I know nothing. Holy shit, Ragnar, what a game. Alright, next map is Last Fantasy, which is a 3-player map. Swap the players up there. It was okay, I guess. Okay, Ragnar. Okay. I was on the edge of my seat for that entire, like, frickin' game. So Ragnar takes game 1 in this best-of-5 series. All right, both players are ready. We're going to get into game 2 of this best-of-5. Man, I actually can't believe that from that position, Ragnar managed to pull off a win. Like, what a game from Ragnar. His crisis management, pretty damn good. Okay. And in the rightmost corner of Last Fantasy, we have with the purple Zerg drones, Ragnar. And in the top corner, playing with the pink Zerg drones, we have Flesh. So this map is interesting because you don't always know like where your opponent's spawn. The funny thing is that both of them are scouting the same base with their overlords. Alright, hatch goes down for Ragnar. Hatch goes down for Flesh. The most standard of standard ZVZ starts. But it's funny, they're both scouting the same base with their overlords. So right now, with this being a 3-player map, neither one of them actually knows where the other player has started. So you can either start here, here, or here. And this can lead to some cheeky plays. Because if you guess wrong in your scouting, you know, you can be behind. Or you can send something off. Like, say you're trying to do an early cheese or something. You can't really, you know, just go... If you guess wrong where your opponent is, then it's obviously not going to work. So these 3-player maps are a little bit interesting, and they've started adding them back in the map pool, I think, to have a little bit more variety. StarCraft 2 has gotten very figured out. The game has been out since 2010. It's been out for a long time. And so they're adding some 3-player maps into the map pool to kind of shake things up a bit. And it actually used to be common back in the Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm even eras that you would have 3 and even 4-player maps used for 1 versus 1s. It's just they change the way you have to play a lot, and scouting becomes very important. Ragnar again going for the early hatch. Both players. Oh, no, not both players. Ragnar does not have Ling Speed researching. He's going straight into a Baneling Nest. Flesh, on the other hand, is halfway done his Ling Speed. Yeah, Ling Speed just started. That's really late for Ragnar. Flesh on 27 to 23 workers for Ragnar. Both players expanding. Oh, I think that hatchery is a little bit off on the the like pad for where you should build your base, and it bothers me. It bothers me. Couple of slowlings going around. Kind of dodged the Overlord Scout a little bit, I think. Oh, Ling Speed just finished. So Flesh will see that his opponent does not have Ling Speed at the same time. ZVZ, I feel like, is a game of inches until it's not. So you're trying to see what your opponent's doing. You're trying to find, like, little advantages, little things. Is this just going to be another Ling Flood from Flesh? To try and punish how Ragnar went for, like, an early third. Gets the queen. That's actually kind of massive. Ooh, that Baneling connection. Yeah, this is another not great situation for Ragnar. We are morphing Banes right against the natural hatchery. Oh, I think that this is maybe not good. Like, this might be it. I don't want to count Ragnar out just yet when he is great at getting back into these games. But that was a hell of a lot of damage. 9 drones going down, basically losing his entire army. Couple of Banelings coming in. These are going to be massive connections. I'm not going to lie to you. I play a lot of Zerg. Or did at one point. I haven't been playing a lot of StarCraft lately. Oh, those connections. Ouch! Yeah, that's GG. Oh god, that hurt to watch. But I hate playing Ling Bane against Ling Bane. I rush roaches every single time. Because I hate it so much. Ley lines. We have a series on our hands. 1-1, Flesh and Ragnar. Race check. All right, getting into game 3. That was a very fast game 2. Oh, Ragnar changed his colors. All right. In the top corner with the teal Zerg drones, we have Ragnar. And in the bottom corner with the pink Zerg drones, we have Flesh. So I will say that I think overall Flesh has had the edge in these games. Ragnar pulled off a spectacular comeback in game 1. A little bit of miscontrol though in game 2, and maybe a bit of greedy play. And Flesh went and punished him for it. There's not really much else to that. Okay, so just stock standard play so far from everyone in this game. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing cheeky, no shenanigans. No cheese. Flesh is Ling flooding, though, like, every single game against Ragnar. Like, which I struggle to call that a cheese, because it's not like it's hitting at, like, 2 minutes. And it's an all-in. But he is Ling flooding him. So Ragnar needs to make some kind of an adaptation. Like, if I'm playing a ZVZ, I wall this off. 2 Evos and a Roach Warren with a Queen in the wall, and that stops Ling Floods from being able to get in. Like, you usually rush out a couple of Queens, and they just cannot get into your base then. You have Transfuses, and even if they Baneling bust 1 Queen, they usually aren't able to Baneling bust a 2nd Queen. So that's my take. And I think that would go a long way in stopping this early aggression from Flesh. I also, like, for example, I hate playing Ling Bane against Zerg. Hate it. So, you get out some early roaches, and yeah, we got the Lings coming across. Hopefully Ragnar sees them again. Like, Flesh is doing a lot to keep the pressure on his opponent early. Alright, he spots the hatchery, he spots the greed. And Flesh is going to have Ling Speed done way before Ragnar again. So, like, Flesh is going with the, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, I am winning these early fights, why fix it? But yeah, around 3 minutes is when I make this wall off and throw a couple queens in it. Oh wait, Ragnar only has 1 queen? What the hell? Oh, this is, he either forgot a queen or something. But yeah, hatch goes down for Ragnar. Flesh has so many Zerglings out already. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why. Like, maybe this is weird of me because I'm a Protoss player who has also played random and played Zerg up to Diamond. But as a Protoss player, you have to wall off every game. If you don't wall off, every game against Zerg, you just lose. And so, right away, I started walling off the entrance to my base against Zerg. And, my win rate in ZVZ skyrocketed. So, I don't know why so many Zerg players seem allergic to walling off. But this is a freaking massive army coming out of Flesh. 29 to 16 army supply. And if that gets into your base, you're just done. Ragnar is building roaches. We have a whole bunch of roaches on the production tab. I do feel like Flesh had a window where he could have just flat out ended this game. But I think that has passed now. I think that Ragnar will stabilize off this, and we're going to go into more of a macro game. But Ragnar is still behind in workers on Flesh. Lair for Flesh is done. Lair for Ragnar is only just starting. Or not starting, but it's about halfway. But Roach Speed is halfway done for Flesh. And that is a huge upgrade as well. Without having Roach Speed, Ragnar is going to have to rely on getting a wraparound with his Lings and trapping some of those roaches. I think that if Flesh loses this game, he needs to come back and look at the early supply difference that he had, because he probably could have run just most of his army into Ragnar's base and ended the game. Okay, we've got a Spire coming up from Flesh. Interesting. Very interesting. Because right now, Ragnar has 2 things that shoot up. 2 queens. And this is not going to get scouted. Like, there are no overlords from Ragnar really in a position to scout this. Overlord speed, not on the production tab. Ragnar has no idea that there is this Spire about to pop. He is going around and eliminating some of Flesh's overlords, you know, cutting off his vision, but it also means that Flesh has a very good idea of exactly the type of army composition that Ragnar is running. And do we see mutas immediately on the production tab? We don't, because Flesh is supply blocked. Couple of little misplays, but and yeah, there go the mutas. So we have 8 mutas on the production tab. So will this be mass muta is the question, or will this just be 8 mutas to hit the back of Ragnar's base while they are fighting? It is hard to say. Got a macro hatch going down in the 3rd for Ragnar. The mutas are with the main army, which is not generally where you want them to be. Generally, you use the mutas to hit them from behind or something else. Mutas are pretty good against roaches because, you know, as I said, roaches cannot shoot up. I feel like using the mutas like this is just a whole army hotkey. This is kind of a waste. Like, yes, Ragnar has nothing to shoot up and hit these mutas, but them bugs eating rocks. Hell yeah, you go bugs, eat those rocks. Hey, Bubba Kyle, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. All right, and the big difference in these armies is that Ragnar cannot deal with these mutas, and he's not trying to save his drones. Hopefully that was a cancel on the hatch. 21 drones going down. The second hatch is going to go down as well, and things are looking dire for Ragnar. He is trying to full wall himself in to keep the army out, but that is not going to hold for very long. He might be able to deal with this ground army, but he has, like I said, nothing to shoot up. He has not started any spore crawlers in his main or his natural. The Hydralisk Den is being focus fired by the Mutalisks, and there's a lot of them now. Ay, ay, ay. This is painful to watch. I think that this is just GG. The mutas are going to kill every drone, and with no spore crawlers anywhere, and not nearly enough Hydras to actually fight these. Game 3 is going to go the way of Flesh. I can almost guarantee it. Yeah, not... Ooh, the Bile's hitting his own army. One muta goes down, but don't think that the rest of these mutas are going to be able to get the job done. GG is called from Ragnar, and Game 3 goes to Flesh. Honestly, that game was looking pretty good for Ragnar for a while there, but unfortunately, the muta transition just caught him completely off guard. Flesh did say 1 second. I'm not sure if he is around. update the scores in my overlay here. Now let's check the other side of the bracket quickly. So, still no update between Your Edge and Flaps. Looks like that series is still ongoing. Chose the wrong server by mistake. Yeah, these two, it's a little rough for them where they're playing from. All right, getting into Game 4 of this best of 5 series. Ragnar versus Flesh on Pylon LE. All right, getting into Game 4 of this best of 5 series, we have in the top corner with the teal Zerg drones, Ragnar. And in the bottom corner with the purple Zerg drones, we have Flesh. Alright, so the games have generally gone in favor of Flesh. Ragnar had some good looks in the last one, but he was completely caught off guard by the Muta transition from Flesh. And I don't really blame him. I wouldn't have expected it either, and he had no vision, no scouting of Flesh's main base. Flesh has been in the driver's seat for the majority of these games, Ragnar has been kind of forced to respond to what Flesh is doing. And yeah, it has not gone well in the last couple of games, though Game 1 was hard fought and Ragnar pulled out the win. I actually thought Ragnar was going to take Game 2. Sorry, not Game 2, Game 3, the last one. But unfortunately, it was not meant to be. Ooh. What are you doing, little guy? You're a long way from home. Oh, he sees it with the Overlord. A proxy hatch? Interesting. So, with death on the line and elimination looking him dead in the eye, Ragnar opts for cheese. A proxy hatch going down beside his opponent's natural hatchery. Zerglings already running across the map. Are we going to send some drones? Is this going to be like Spinecrawler rushes? Like, what are we doing here, Ragnar? Usually when I see proxy hatches, they're done against me as Protoss, not against Zerg. Alright, a couple of Lings popping, and the Lings from Ragnar are arriving. But there is a lot of Lings from Flesh, and they are right here on this side of the map. This is a good response from Flesh. More Lings from Ragnar coming in. Snipe the drone, maybe. Good pullback of the Lings. Got a queen being made in the hatch. I don't know. I just don't think that Ragnar is getting enough work done. The hatch is going to go down, it looks like. And then from that point, he is going to be very, very behind. You forced out some extra Lings for defense from your opponent, but you really didn't get any kind of economic damage done. You delayed some mining, but if I'm Flesh, now I'm just going across the map. Oh, but Ragnar has Ling speed now. And Flesh... Oh, but Flesh is finishing right after. So, yeah, this is not a good position to be in for Ragnar. Is very, very unfortunate. I think Ragnar is just going to keep trying to all in. He doesn't really have any other option at this point in time. But great hold by Flesh. Roach Warren going down on the side of Flesh. Wow, that is a lot of army. And that's kind of the problem with trying to all-in Zerg sometimes, is the way that Zerg responds is they typically overmake their army, and then once they have overmade their army, they hold the attack and they hit you in the face. Oh, and we have Banelings out. This is going to be painful for Ragnar. Hoping that a couple of those Baneling connections... Oof. Yeah, I think that this game is done, unfortunately. The cheese failed. Oh god, it is sickening how much damage a single Baneling gets against Zerglings. How many it can kill. GG called from Ragnar, and Flesh takes the series 3-1. So Flesh will be advancing on to our best of 7 finals. Not sure who he's going to be playing yet. And Ragnar will be playing for 3rd and 4th place. Oh, there goes Ragnar. Maybe a little bit salty after that loss. I don't really blame him. He played hard, but just couldn't quite get the wins. Alright, we're going to cut to an ad here while I'm not actively casting. Let's check in on the other brackets, actually. Let's see what's going on in those other brackets. So I've been casting games in the Initiate bracket right now, which is our Metal Leagues. It is Bronze to Platinum ranked. But there are 3 other brackets going on as well right now. So it looks like in the Veteran bracket, which is Diamond 3 and 2, we had Taldareem 666, who has made it all the way to the best of 7 finals in a PvP final against M the Great. We had, who else do we have playing here? We had Old Lady Zerg, we had Blade of Ire, Glacius, Balimko, and Nell's Dog. And the 3rd place match will be Old Lady Zerg against Blade of Ire. Who do we have in the Prestige? Beast knocked out Defiance right away. Oh, that sucks, Defiance. But then went on to play against Erez, and now Beast is in the final, and it is yet to be determined who his opponent will be. Who else do we have? Erez, Mika, Dizzy Dwarf, Anatar, Steez, and Set. So it'll be the winner of Dizzy Dwarf and Set, 2191, that plays in the Prestige final against Beast, and the loser will drop down to face Erez for 3rd place. And the Elite, which is Masters 1 to GM. Looks like we have a final going on there against Nexorable versus Cobblestone 05. I don't cover this bracket a lot, so I'm very unfamiliar with a lot of those players, but that is like the top level in this league. Part of what I love about this league is that there really is a level for everyone. That's why we have these 4 different divisions. If you're just starting out, there is the Initiate bracket. If you're a more experienced player, there's either Veteran or Prestige, and then the Elite bracket for the top of the top ranked players. Okay, they'll play on EU, it looks like. I'm just going to swap over quickly to the EU server. Oh, don't care about that. I've not been on the EU server in quite some time. Thought I had one of them added on EU, but maybe not. Oh, looks like his name is the same over here. This is a best of 7, so each player only gets to veto one map. We are playing on the EU server because both of these players are European. If I recall correctly, because I think your Edge actually corrected me on this at one point, I think he is from Hungary. He's Hungarian. And I am not sure where Flesh is from. It might actually be on the Amateur League website. I check the standings. Flesh, it seems, is from Germany. Oh, your Edge might not be just AFK briefly. But we will get started with vetoes once they get back. Don't have your Edge on my friends list on EU, so I will need Flesh to suggest him to the party. And then we can get started. Wonder what the score was between Flaps and your Edge. Looks like it was also a 3-1, the same as Flesh versus Ragnar. I have seen Flesh and your Edge play before, and your Edge is a very good macro Zerg player. So I am kind of excited to see how things pan out. I think the last time I watched these two, I think I've only seen them play once, was in another final, and your Edge 3-0'd Flesh. So, kind of excited to see how this goes. if they could get here so I have a game to cast, that would be nice. Need to fix their AC. Looks... Oh, says he's ready. Got him. Figured it out. We cracked the case. Alright, so because this is a best of 7 series, so this is not Ragnar vs. Flesh, this is your Edge vs. Flesh. There is only one veto each. Torches for Flesh. And Ultra Love from your Edge. Alright, so now we're already into picks. What is our first map going to be? First map. Last Fantasy. Okay, interesting. Jesus, says your Edge. Oh, I don't blame him. There's a lot of people that really don't like that map. Persephone is our second map. You're a StarCraft Brood War player, you should too. You know what, that's fair. That was very common in Brood War, to have those 3 or 4 player maps. Maganatha. Ley lines. A little bit of chatting. Pylon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 2 more maps to pick. Well, actually 1 more map, and then it's just the ace map. Tokamak. And Incorporeal will be the last map. Okay. So Last Fantasy to start. Get the Observer++ mod. All right, getting into the first game of this best of 7 between Flesh and Your Edge for the Initiate Bracket Finals. Let's go. All right, spawning in the top corner of Last Fantasy with the blue Zerg drones, we have Your Edge. And in the bottom corner of the map with the pink Zerg drones, we have Flesh. Alright, so a little bit of chatting between these two players before the game. They're both StarCraft Brood Wars players as well, which is interesting. I haven't played Brood War in years, but I loved that game. Now it looks like both players are actually scouting towards each other. The Overlords might actually see each other on their way. So what will we see? I assume that we're just going to see more of the same out of Flesh that we saw in his match against Ragnar. The early aggression, the Ling Floods. What I'm very curious about is how Your Edge will respond. Your Edge is a very strong Zerg player. And I've seen him, you know, he pretty much doesn't get shaken by anything. He's a strong macro Zerg. Everything so far is completely stock standard. Nothing out of the ordinary. Got an Overlord Scout going to the other position just in case. But both players will pretty quickly know where they are in relation to the other. It's not like there's any aggression. No one's going for like an early spawning pool. And honestly, in this map, you'd kind of be crazy to try and do like an early like Ling Rush or something. So we see the creep. That's all we need to know. Meanwhile, Your Edge scouted the hatchery. Both players having near identical timings. And for me, it's always interesting seeing the players who they are almost identically timed, very evenly matched. I am curious how this is going to shake out. And I actually think I remember from the previous map pool, Flesh liked some of the weird maps a little bit more. Like, I think Flesh liked playing on El Dorado, which was almost always only played by Terran players, from what I recall. Got 25 to 21 workers, an advantage for Flesh, but 5 to 7 army supply. And the Lings are coming across, just to try and do a little bit of early damage. Oh no, save the drones! Come on, run away with the drones! Come on, no! 2 drones go down! 3 drones! 4 drones! 5 drones! 6 drones! Like, you gotta try and run away with those guys, like... I see so many low-ranked players just leaving their workers to die, like... And now that is a absolutely massive lead on the side of your Edge. Flesh went with some greedy extra droning, only had, I think, 2 Lings to start, and your Edge ran 6 Lings across and punished him for it. Sorry, 2 Zerglings, not 2 drones for defense. Now we're looking at a little bit of a Ling flood situation for the side of Flesh. This is the same thing that he did, 4 games in a row to Ragnar. Gets the hatch cancel. So now, your Edge is doing the thing. He's blocking off the entrance. You can put a queen in that, and then Zerglings can't flood in. Why I don't see more Zerg players, at least at this level, doing this, I don't know. Your Edge luring some of those Lings out of, but not getting any kills, I don't think. Flesh does have the army supply lead. He also has the hatchery lead on 3 bases now. But he has to be careful, because there could be a pretty nasty 2-base all-in potentially coming from your Edge in this situation. And he's almost maybe forced a little bit into a 2-base all-in. But Flesh very much in the driver's seat of this game. Starting up the 1 ranged damage upgrades. The lair is finishing. We're probably going for a 1-1 roach speed timing attack from the side of your Edge. Ooh, that is a huge Zergling ball, but he sees the other ones moving out. Oh, but then the Banelings being right there means he cannot move into the base. Your Edge is probably going to look for some kind of a counterattack. He either knows or suspects that this hatchery is there. I think he knew it was there. And he shouldn't be able to get this. 1 Baneling goes off, gets a Zergling or 2. Alright. So far, a very even matchup. Most not really able to get too much of an advantage for either side, but Flesh is on 3 bases compared to your Edge's 2. Your Edge is on a timer. He's going to start mining out. He has to get a big enough roach ball when these upgrades finished and go and get some damage on Flesh. Flesh, on the other hand, is only just starting to produce roaches. So we are at 43 to 70 army supply. And this is what I was talking about. This is where you can't get complacent. You really have to understand that if you keep your opponent on 2 bases like this, they're probably just going to try and all-in you. I don't know that Flesh can actually defend this 3rd base. Ooh. The roaches do get into an area where they are able to funnel the Zerglings, only a few of them being able to be attacked. And I don't think you can fight this as Flesh. so many Zerglings, like all of Flesh's Zerglings, and all those Banelings go down, and they get almost nothing. I think you just had to give this base and try to amass enough roaches to hold the rest of them, the reinforcements that are coming across the map. If you catch them out here where you can get a surround, you're in a much better situation to fight rather than trying to fight in this choke point. And at this point, I think it's all over but the crying. Your Edge is going to snipe the Roach Warren. It is like, it was literally 1 health. Yeah, Flesh calls GG. You gotta be so careful when you force your opponents, hold them in on 2 bases, being greedy and over-droning. In my mind, you have to expect that 2-base all-in attack is coming in that situation. Well played by Your Edge. Alright, Persephone is our next map. Alright, go from Flesh. Alright, here we go, getting into game 2. Great series so far. Oh, right, this is the map with the weird speed corridor on the right side. Alright. Getting into game 2 of this best of 7 series. We have in the top corner with the blue Zerg drones, Your Edge. And in the bottom corner with the pink Zerg drones, we have Flesh. I think that Flesh in this last game was definitely out macroing Your Edge. He had a great, plan. He was on 3 bases, but he overdrone. He was not expecting the roach ball that was coming across at him, and he forced his opponent into a 2-base all-in and did not expect what was coming. So just very unfortunate play. Ooh, interesting. Your Edge wants to strike while the iron is hot. Alright, I think that maybe Your Edge thinks that Flesh is a little bit vulnerable early. Which may or may not be true. Alright, everything is normally timed for the side of Flesh, but Your Edge with that fast pool and early gas, or right into 3 gas. This is a Ling Flood build. And it probably hits at about the 3-minute mark, I would guess. And if Flesh doesn't wall off preemptively, it's going to be very hard for him to hold. Oh, he's already sending the Lings across the map. He's not even waiting for Ling speed. They are already going across. We need to get our safety Lings up. This just 4 to try and get a little damage, or like in my mind, you don't want to show those Lings. Okay, he gets a little advantage, gets a drone. But like, I see something like this, and I am walling this off like right now, and building extra queens to hold the wall. But that is just me. Because to me, this screams aggressive Ling Flood build. Baneling Nest goes down. Queen's clearing Overlords. Will we actually get an Overlord kill, though? Ooh, your edge gets supply blocked. The Overlord goes down. Flesh saves his. Don't just donate your Overlords for free, but I guess he did get a bit of a scout. So he didn't see anything unusual in the base of Flesh. I mean, Flesh does have the army advantage, but not by very much. I don't know about going for this early aggression, but the Baneling Nest isn't finished yet. Yeah, I think retreating back home is the right choice. Alright, we got a macro hatch coming up for your edge. So he is playing a 2-base all-in build by the fact that he is building a macro hatch here rather than going for an expansion. Got Banelings coming up. Yeah, you should be able to tell now, Flesh, that this is a 2-base all-in. And I don't know about going for this when you see your opponent is 2-base all-inning you. Your Roach Warren and your Evo Chambers are in your main, meaning you are not prepared for a Ling Flood if there is one coming. Now that being said, I think that this is Roaches based off the Roach Warren, but it's probably going to be another 1-1 Roach speed timing attack. Baby's first Zerg timing attack. Not too much to talk about so far. I am a little bit sketched out that we are going for an expand when we're under threat of being all-in. And we should be seeing that this is a 2-base all-in build by the fact that there are no expansions. Like, Flesh, this should be... The alarm bells should be ringing in your mind that it's 5 minutes... He has no expansions beyond his natural. Like, this should be setting off major alarm bells that this attack is imminent. It is coming now. There is nothing hidden. And he's going across the map. Your edge is on his way. 42 army supply to 32. And we are droning. Why are we droning, Flesh? You needed roaches yesterday. Now this isn't a... Ooh, these Zerglings that snipe, they're move commanded. Now this isn't a super committed attack from the side of your edge. He is catching up in workers. Now I think that Flesh should be able to hold this because there are no reinforcements on the way. But this was so greedy from Flesh to have scouted that there is no third base. And you should know that's a 2-base all-in. And to drone on the back of that, when you have no pressure, at the, 5:30, 6-minute mark, that could have been game losing if your edge, I think, had waited for one more round of roaches or been a little bit more committed. Now, we don't actually have any tech upgrades, which is a little bit surprising. Usually you go for this timing attack, you get your... Oh, there was no lair! He couldn't get roach speed. You usually go 1-1 roach speed, and that's your time attack. The roaches passing each other like ships in the night. And he should see these guys moving out. Are we just going to try to go and base trade this? I don't really know why, but... Kill the drones! Yeah, and then on the other side of the map, this is such a weird game, man. Run a drone out and build a hatchery on, like, the top corner or something. Because we're going for a base trade. Okay, there's a roach ball at the top of the ramp with queens, but I don't think they're going to be able to hold. But Your Edge is already into the base of Flesh, and he has more units. Flesh needs to try to get a drone out somewhere. This is the weirdest game, guys. I think Flesh loses this base trade. Unless he has a drone that got out somewhere to build a hatch. What did I just watch? Like, Your Edge should not have been able to win this. Flesh, this was your game to lose, brother. Maganatha is our third match. Sorry, that was such a weird game. That was such a weird game. I don't even know what to say. Okay, we've got the go-go for both players. Getting into game 3 of this best of 7. And what should have been a 0 or a 1-1 and is now a 0-2 in favor of Your Edge. All right. In the bottom corner with the blue Zerg drones, we have Your Edge. And in the top corner with the teal Zerg drones, send him your energy, let's get him on the board in this best of 7. We have Flesh. That last game, like, I am still reeling from some of the decisions made in it. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, we're just gonna reset and focus on this game, same as the players should be doing. So we both are going for normal timed hatcheries. It looks like no early shenanigans, anything like that. Overlord scouts going across the map. And yeah, all stock standard. All what I would expect to see from these players in this matchup. Spawning pool is going down at normal times for both players. Both players are on 16 drones. Oh, nope, 17 now, sorry. 18 for your edge. This is a huge map. I don't think I've seen this map very often. Maganatha. Yeah, I can't remember playing on this. But, you know, spreading your overlords out and getting good vision, because there's only a couple of paths that they can really take to get down to your base, is going to be very important for both players. I think that Flesh needs to be a little bit better about scouting and getting that vision, so that he can see what your edge is sending across the map. Your edge has been playing a lot of kind of two base all-in builds. One time because Flesh forced him into it, and one time because that just seemed to be his plan from the get-go. But now this is a huge map, and it looks like he is going to play a little bit more macro-focused. I also think this is a pretty long rush distance, so Flesh is sending a couple of lings across the map just to kind of explore and see what's up, but they shouldn't get anything done. You'll see there is no third base over there, but there may be a third base on the other side. And if I were, I'd be taking this one. It's just a little bit closer. We do have some droning. Come on, go scout. Scout the third position. Yeah, so Flesh sees that there is a third hatchery. Both players doing the exact same thing, just slightly different positions on the map. I think your edge will have the slightly faster ling speed, but it likely will not give him a window to actually accomplish very much. Alright, little bit of a scout with some Zerglings. A second prong of Zerglings going up to try and cancel this base, maybe. Your edge is at 13 to 8 army supply. Alright. Come on, don't let this hatch fall. If it falls, you're forced into a 2-base all-in, and I don't think Flesh likes those very much, from what I've seen. Alright, we are going to do the classic Zerg overproduce army. More coming across the map from your edge. Oh, that may have been a misclick. Now, maybe go across the map and hit him in the face. And drone behind it. Alright. Everything is pretty standard so far. Nice Amateur League logo in the map, thanks to the casting tool that was provided by the league. Alright, got another little ling run by going up. And yes, spreading out these overlords, getting this vision is so important. There's still so much dark spot, so many dark spots on the map, though. In my opinion, we should not have overlords just sitting in the base like this in a ZVZ. They should be spread out, looking for these run-bys, looking for these opportunities. Ooh, couple of banelings coming in if Flesh isn't paying attention. Oh no! Oh, that could have been so bad. A little bit of miscontrol by your edge, I think. Because those could have been... The banelings, I think, were move commanded. And those could have been absolutely huge connections. Fourth base coming up for the side of Flesh. Macro hatch coming up for your edge. So it looks like your edge wants to play a 3-base all-in. Your edge consistently has about 10 army supply on Flesh. The Flesh just did build a bunch of roaches. Now, this move out should have been spotted, right? Yeah, it should have been spotted. He should know It's coming, and be prepared and get his forces in position. Swear to God, if you start droning right now... Okay, yeah, you need to pull back. You're going to try and snipe the queen. Your edge is really good about forcing fights in these little choke points, where his smaller numbers against the masses of Zerglings can be better put to use. But this time, Flesh was ready for him. He did not actually get significant damage against the third base of Flesh in this case. He did get a queen, but that is not really that significant. I think that Flesh is kind of missing out on one of the strengths of the Zerg. He is over-droning a lot, in my opinion. And like usually you scout an attack is coming as Zerg, and you build, you know, troops to go and hold it, and you overbuild so that you can counterattack. That is how Zerg is kind of meant to be played. And so I think that that attack comes across the map. You likely have the worker advantage or something close to it, and you just killed a whole bunch of his units. You overbuild, and then you counter, and you wipe out his third. Or you kill a bunch of his tech at the front of the natural, or something like that. And I think that Flesh is kind of missing out on these opportunities. I'm also not gonna lie, like both these players are low diamond or high plat, and there's a lot of overlap between low diamond and high plat. Players drop in and out of diamond 3 all the time, myself included. I don't actually know that I would win against these players, despite hitting like 33.99 MMR. I don't know that I'm like that much better than them, and they probably do have better ideas of the Zerg matchup than I do. So take anything I say with a grain of salt, but that is just my opinion watching these games. They're at 104, army supply to 90. Ooh, some move commands, it looks like. Ooh, that was a good bile by your edge on the side of Flesh. I think you need to get a surround here. When your Zerglings are derping around in the back, you really need a surround. Ooh, that was not great. Biles. Good Biles, but forcing the army of Flesh to retreat a little bit. Man, your edge. 118 army supply to 76. But most of that army is still back at home. If he could have gotten a surround, Flesh, that is, gotten a surround on this army and wiped it out, that would have been huge. This is not the time to push out. You need to build more army. Ooh, lurkers are coming up. Yeah, don't let him see them. Lurkers will be absolutely massive for holding this. This is such a heavy investment into Zerglings, though, and I don't really understand the why. You can't push away from these lurkers. You can't push away from these lurkers. You need to fight with them. Oh, I didn't even notice this hatchery up here. That's going to go down. You have to fight with your lurkers, Flesh. Oh, one lurker gets sniped. Maybe two. Ooh, so close. Lurkers, of course, deal bonus damage to armored units. Roaches are armored units. And also, they just have really great splash for holding bases. And if you don't have Overseers, which, at present, I don't believe that your edge does, then it's going to be difficult to actually kill them. You can snipe them with Ravager Biles, but you can't do much. Lurkers burrow. I don't think we have any lurker upgrades, though. So Flesh absolutely has the worker advantage, which is why you can kind of have these cost-effective trades. Or, sorry, cost-ineffective trades. But I'm not going to lie, I think that he needs to stop making Zerglings in a lot of these cases. And focus on, like, higher Roach Hydra count to go along with this. Oh, we're going for a base trade. If there were even a couple of lurkers left behind here. Alright, your edge is able to get a hatchery. The drone's not pulled away. 19 drones go down. See if we can get a surround. Yeah, and nothing really got done on the other side of the map for Flesh. I think you gotta leave your main army at home, and you can look at maybe doing some Ling run-bys, but you can't just, you know, abandon... You knew this army was still out on the map here somewhere, and you went to the other side. Yeah, there's just... Flesh loves his Zerglings, apparently. It's like Atlantean with his Zealots. But yes, killing this base, this is the right move, absolutely. Oh, we do have an Overseer, and we have our own Lurkers out now for the side of your edge. Ooh, I don't know about walking up into that, though. I also don't know if we have the Lurker Seismic Spine upgrade. I haven't seen it get built. And right now, your edge's Lurkers are being able to hit Flesh's army, but not the other way around. 15 drones go down to Ling run by on the other side of the map. Oh no, move commanded Hydras! Oh, it's a disaster for Flesh. Oh, and the hatchery goes down. Now, one thing I am going to mention is because I have noticed a lot of players, especially in the lower leagues, who are not running their drones away when they are in danger. A hatchery, to put this in perspective, is 275 minerals. Used to be 300. Let's use 300. That is 6 drones worth of minerals. If you kill 19 drones, which is what happened when this hatch went down and all the drones died earlier, 19 times 50, I'm not going to do the math, is a lot more than one hatchery going down. It is always better to snipe workers. If you can kill like 19 or 20 or even 10, if you can kill more than 6 workers, it is more worth it to kill workers than it is to kill the hatchery in most cases. Uh-oh, move commanded units. What a big pickup for your edge. The army supply 144 to 56. Oh, I think it might just be all over but the crying here. Flesh has not been able to effectively spend his money. Like, he's sitting on a bank of 3,000 minerals and 800 gas. And he was just not able to spend it. I don't know if he didn't have the larva. I don't know if he was just spamming out lings to try and have units. But he was taking such cost-inefficient trades with those lings and not really getting much done. Your edge on the other side had more expensive units, roaches, hydras, ravagers, but he was forcing out, you know, more efficient trades by having those stronger units. All right, I'm going to stop talking. We are going to get into game number 4. Ooh, both players up over 200 APM. That game, god damn, playing their hearts out. All right, ley lines is our last map. think Flesh is getting in his own head just a little bit. I love the friendly, like, tips and back and forth that you see this a lot in this league. Players, you know, talking a bit, giving each other tips. I fucking love it. Alright, Flesh needs to do a bit of a mental reset, I think, for this one. Just waiting to see if Flesh is... Okay, we're getting into game 4 of this best of 7. Can Flesh get on the board? But I think one thing is for sure. Despite these losses, Flesh is not going quietly into the night. Alright. So for game 4 of this best of 7 series, we have in the bottom corner with the blue Zerg drones, Your Edge. And in the top corner with the teal Zerg drones, send them your energy. Let's get them on the board. It's time for the reverse sweep. Let's go Flesh. Honestly, that last game was close. That was probably the best Flesh has looked in this series, and that has got to be even more crushing that he couldn't quite pull out the win. He had some really, really good looks, really good chances, and just StarCraft is a game of inches. Small mistakes pile up and snowball, and you lose games where you feel like you should have won. And I've been there. It is very hard at times after dealing with those kind of games where you feel like you should have won. Alright. Pool and gas go down. Same thing on the other side of the map. Stock standard normal starts. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Oh, there's the third drone for the gas. I do wish I had a little bit more to talk about during these opening 2-3 minutes, because there's just nothing that really goes on in this DBZ matchup until, you know, some lings maybe get sent across the map or something when players play standard. Okay. We hiding some lings in the base? Is there a reason for this? Oh, so the Overlord doesn't see them. But I would just park the Overlord here. You want to see if these lings go across. You know that your Edge likes to do some cheeky little ling run-bys right to start the game. Yeah. I think a couple of extra safety lings are a good idea. 10 to 13 army supply in favor of your Edge. 22 to 21 workers. Flesh is going for an early hatchery. Seeing that, your Edge starts the Baneling nest and sends the units out. Hopefully Flesh sees this. Both players' ling speed will finish up at about the same time. I think he saw it. He realizes that there's something going on. But don't be greedy. Don't over-drone. Get those lings out. Oh no, the lings aren't in position. The ling speed finishes for both players. Flesh now with the Edge in army supply, and there they go. There are the lings. This is almost more of a skill check than anything on the part of your Edge. He should not really be able to get any damage done here. Roach Warren coming up on the side of Flesh. But these Banelings... Oh, if Flesh does not control properly in this case, or misses what's happening, those Banelings are going to decimate this force of lings. Oh no, good connections from the Banelings. Flesh looked away for a second. Ooh, good splits from Flesh. You need to get the rest of those lings there, brother. Can't let this hatchery go down. Good defense from Flesh. Really good defense. Alright. Now, see if he sees the Roach Warren. He knows there's no expansion. What will Flesh do? Macro hatch goes down. He actually has the hatchery advantage here. He can outproduce your Edge, potentially, and go for a earlier Roach all-in, maybe. Like, there are options here for Flesh. I like that your Edge is walling this off so that it protects him from the Ling Flood. +1 ranged starts up. The lair is halfway done. We are going for the 1-1 Roach timing attack. Little force of lings, just seeing if they can get a bit of damage. Alright, we have some more roaches popping. Like, Flesh, actually, for maybe one of the first times in this series, has a much larger army than your Edge. Now, he knows this is a 2-base all-in. So how does Flesh respond? You can go across the map as Zerg. You can be aggressive and drone behind that aggression. But you cannot get overly greedy when you don't have the army. Flesh makes a Spire. This has not been scouted by your Edge. I think that that's actually a good adaptation and a great way of holding this 2-base all-in. 3rd base starts up. Flesh should be able to see this, right? Yeah, he sees it. But now your Edge has the army supply lead. He's got the Roaches, he's got the Ravagers. I don't know if you can force this cancel with just Lings. He sees you coming over, he's got the Overlord spread out. Or he doesn't see it, maybe. Oh, no, no, he noticed now. He didn't notice it initially. He was just going to kill the Link. Oh, there's a couple of mutas here, though. Have the mutas been seen? Oh, this is a horrible choke to fight in. The mutas getting distracted by the Overlord. They're not part of the fight. Oh, that was not a good fight for Flesh. Again, with the Overlords, we're not controlling our mutas very well. This is why I personally don't like mutas. Spore Crawler goes down. The instant response to seeing the mutas on the map, as it should always be. Now you need the mutas for defense. So, Roach after Roach goes down, Lings pop. We have mutas, we might be able to clean this up. But this is so many Roaches hitting him in the face. That fight on the ramp, where the mutas were split off and not actually attacking Roaches, was disastrous. Flesh calls the GG, and Your Edge takes the final 4-0. I think most of the other brackets are already finished. Alright, looks like most of the games are finished. Alright, I don't think any other games need to be casted. I think the major has pretty much wrapped up. Let me see if there is someone else that is maybe casting or playing games right now. Oh, it looks like maybe some of the Prestige games are still ongoing. Or not Prestige. Yeah, Prestige. Because it looks like Defiance is streaming. So we're going to go raid Defiance. Thank you for everyone that tuned in. Really appreciate all of you. We're going to run a quick ad. And we are going to get over on that raid.